The oceans cover more than 70% of the Earth's surface, and despite advances in underwater exploration, we still know very little about what is hidden in their depths. Only about 20% of the seafloor has been discovered so far. In this context, there are many hypotheses and scientific speculations that the ocean depths may hide ancient cities, sunken civilizations, and unknown cultures that disappeared millions of years ago or were simply swallowed up by natural disasters. However, at the moment, all these theories remain unproven, and they do not receive wide scientific support. Let's take a look at a few important aspects that may explain why the idea of hidden underwater civilizations is not so incredible. The ocean is one of the largest and most unexplored objects on Earth, which hides many secrets. To date, scientists have explored only about 20% of the ocean floor, which leaves great opportunities for future discoveries. But what can the remaining unexplored part of the ocean hide? Could there be sunken cities, vanished civilizations, and forgotten cultures under its deep waters? The ocean as a territory for archaeological research, modern technology, and equipment allow us to explore the ocean at deeper levels than ever before. Underwater vehicles such as bathyscaphs and autonomous underwater robots can dive to depths that were inaccessible several decades ago. However, even with the most advanced technology, about 80% of the ocean floor is still unexplored. This gives us an idea of how much space there is for discovery that we haven't explored yet. Scientists are increasingly beginning to wonder, what are these unexplored depths hiding? Could there be lost cities or remnants of civilizations that disappeared millions of years ago, but whose footprints still remain under the water? Historically, land flooding has occurred repeatedly. We know that over the past millions of years, the level of the world's oceans has changed significantly, often as a result of glacial eras or other natural disasters. The civilizations that once existed in these territories may have been swallowed up by the water, and their cities may be hidden in the depths of the ocean. For example, the floods mentioned in the myths of many peoples may be a reflection of real events when significant areas of land were flooded. Archaeological finds. In recent decades, scientists have discovered several interesting archaeological sites in the ocean depths that may be associated with ancient civilizations. For example, in 2001, a huge underwater complex resembling an ancient pyramid was found in the Sea of Japan. This structure was named Yonaguni, and it remained the subject of controversy among scientists. Some suggest that this is a natural geological formation. Others believe that it could have been built by ancient people. Such discoveries show that there may be not only sunken ships at the bottom of the oceans, but also ancient structures that have not yet been properly explored. In addition, underwater archaeological finds in the form of sunken cities, such as Petra in Jordan or Troy in Turkey, have already changed the perception of ancient civilizations. Flooded cities and settlements can hide artifacts that will help us better understand how ancient societies developed. One of the most obvious factors that can explain the presence of submerged civilizations is the geological and climatic changes that occurred on Earth in different historical epochs. Since the beginning of the Pleistocene period and up to now, our planet has undergone significant climate changes that have led to rising ocean levels. Global floods and sea level changes, glacial epochs and periods of global floods played a key role in shaping the modern geographical landscape. During the glacial epochs, when large masses of water were frozen in glaciers, the sea level dropped significantly. This allowed civilizations to develop on land that was later absorbed by water. As a result of the melting of glaciers, the ocean level could rise by several hundred meters, flooding vast territories, including lands where cities once existed. One of the most famous examples is the global sinking, which led to the flooding of part of the Earth about 11,000 years ago. This may be the flood that is described in myths as the event that destroyed civilizations. Such disasters could have left archaeological sites on the ocean floor, which we are just beginning to discover with the development of underwater technologies. Disasters and their impact on civilizations. The question of which civilizations could have existed on these flooded lands remains open. It is important to note that many ancient civilizations began their history on the coasts or near large rivers. This highlights the importance of water as a resource for the development of human societies. When these lands began to flood as a result of rising ocean levels, these civilizations may have been forced to leave their homes or were completely destroyed. In addition, Earthquakes and tsunamis can cause instant flooding of territories. An example of such a disaster is the tsunami event in the Indian Ocean in 2004, when a strong earthquake and subsequent tsunami destroyed coastal cities. Similar disasters could have occurred in ancient times, destroying cities and swallowing them under the water column. One of the most exciting aspects of the idea of hidden ocean civilizations is the unusual artifacts and underwater structures that have been discovered in the depths of the ocean. These artifacts, often unlike natural formations, call into question our traditional ideas about the development of human cultures and may be evidence that ancient civilizations actually existed in an area that is now hidden underwater. Underwater pyramids and megalithic structures. One of the most famous examples of unusual underwater structures are the pyramids on the ocean floor. In 2004, researchers discovered the first underwater pyramid off the coast of Japan, on the island of Yonaguni. This is not the only example, and since then, scientists have discovered other underwater megalithic structures in different parts of the world. The pyramid on Yonaguni Island is located at a depth of about 27 meters, and its structure raises a lot of questions. At first, many researchers believed that this was a natural geological formation. However, upon closer examination, experts noted that in some parts of this structure there are obvious traces of human work. In particular, the corners, which in nature could not form such straight lines, as well as step structures, reminiscent of those used in ancient cultures such as Egypt or Central America. There are even theories according to which the pyramid on Yonaguni could have been part of an ancient city that was flooded as a result of natural disasters such as rising ocean levels or a tsunami. If this is indeed a man-made structure, it could be evidence of the existence of a highly advanced civilization that was swallowed up by water. Another example of such strange structures is the underwater pyramid in the Atlantic Ocean, discovered in 2004 at a depth of about 900 meters. This pyramid, with an unusual geometry, is called the Atlantic Pyramid, although its origin remains a mystery. Scientists are still unable to accurately explain whether this formation is natural or whether it is the result of human activity. Ocean artifacts that shouldn't be there. In addition to the pyramids, the ocean depths hide many other unusual artifacts. In the 1980s, an underwater stone circle was discovered near Okinawa Island in Japan. The stones, arranged in a circle with dimensions corresponding to those that could be used in ancient megalithic structures, reminded scientists of famous stone circles such as Stonehenge in the UK. Another example is the discovery of spherical rocks in the waters off the coast of Central America. These stones were arranged in regular rows and columns at a depth of about 100 meters, and their size and shape raise questions about how they could have ended up on the ocean floor. As in the case of stone circles, scientists still cannot explain whether these objects are the result of natural erosion or traces of human activity. Underwater cities and temples. In addition to pyramid-like structures and stone objects, scientists have also discovered ancient ruins underwater. One of the most famous examples is a sunken city in the Indian Ocean, which, according to some archaeologists, may be the remains of the Lemurian civilization or even Atlantis. Archaeological research shows that this city was built using stone and brick blocks, indicating a highly developed civilization. The technologies of their construction and the details of the architecture of these buildings do not correspond to the architectural traditions known to us. Another example of an underwater city was found in China in 2001. Sunken temples and palaces have been discovered in this place, presumably built several thousand years ago. The city, which is now hidden at a depth of about 40 meters, includes megalithic structures such as walls, stairs, and columns, which may be remnants of an ancient culture whose traditions have not been recorded in history. The mysteries of ancient technology. Underwater artifacts are not limited to stone structures only. Some finds may be related to ancient technologies used for resource extraction or construction. In 2011, an underwater mechanism resembling a computer was found in the Mediterranean Sea. This artifact, known as the Antikythera mechanism, dates back to about the 2nd century BC and was used to calculate astronomical events. However, its complexity and precision of mechanisms at that time surprised scientists, since such technologies were considered impossible at that time. If such complex mechanisms could have existed in ancient times, it opens up new horizons for understanding the technologies of ancient civilizations. It is possible that the ocean depths store other similar mechanisms that were left flooded as a result of disasters or geological changes. Underwater archaeologists believe that in the future, We may find even more such antique cars that will change our perception of history. Modern marine sensing technologies such as multipath echo sounders, satellite mapping, and deep-sea scanners have revealed hundreds of unusual structures on the ocean floor over the past decades. Some of them resemble linear shapes, regular geometric patterns, stepped platforms, or even entire structures, which has given rise to hypotheses about the possible artificial origin of such objects. Geometry that is not typical of nature. One of the most well-known and discussed examples is the so-called object in the Baltic Sea, discovered in 2011 at a depth of about 90 meters. According to echolocation data, it is a massive rounded shape with well-defined edges with a diameter of about 60 meters. Some enthusiasts compared it to an underwater Stonehenge or even a UFO landing site. However, at the moment there is no generally accepted scientific interpretation of the object's origin. Opinions range from an unusual geological formation to remnants of glacial movements. Another frequently mentioned case is the Yonagong Monument, located off the coast of Japan. This underwater complex consists of stepped platforms, right angles, and wide flat surfaces, which makes it look like pyramidal or palatial structures. Geologists and archaeologists are still debating whether the shape of the monument is the result of tectonic processes or whether it is a man-made structure belonging to an unknown ancient culture that existed before the last ice age. A possible explanation is the ancient coastline. Many of the discovered geometric structures are located at depths from 20 to 100 meters, which coincides with estimates of ancient coastlines that existed before the warming caused by the end of the ice. Age about 12,000 years ago. This is an important argument because numerous civilizations really originated near the sea, both for reasons of access to resources and due to the convenience of transportation. Sea level rise in the late Holocene could have flooded entire regions inhabited by humans. Thus, there is a scientific reason to believe that some geometrically regular structures on the ocean floor may be the remains of ancient coastal settlements destroyed by time and nature. They could include temples, walls, roads, or piers, which today seem anomalous because of their shape, but were once part of the daily life of a prehistoric society. The problem of interpretation. The difficulty is that the processes of erosion, sedimentation, and biological activity occur differently underwater than on land, so shapes that appear artificial may well be the result of slow but natural processes. It is precisely because of this that scientists are reticent about loud statements about sunken civilizations. However, this does not negate the fact that the analysis of such structures is important. It can not only shed light on the Earth's past, but also, if confirmed by artificial origin, radically change our understanding of the chronology of human history. Modern ocean exploration technologies give us the opportunity to explore unexplored areas in depth and make new archaeological discoveries. For example, with the help of robotic explorers, advanced underwater vehicles, and 3D scanning technologies, we can already identify unusual objects on the ocean floor. The future of underwater exploration opens up great horizons for us. It is possible that in the future, ancient civilizations will be discovered in the deep oceans, and this will change our view of human history.